That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks. Happy Thanksgiving week. We are going to give thanks for all things that provide us happiness in our life, our friends, our family, everybody in the Always Irish chats. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome in, everybody. It's going to be a wild week. I don't know what else to tell you. It's going to be a wild week. The energy's already cranking up and you can feel it. And it's beautiful because the way we started this year, look at this. Look at the call-in line. The queue's filling up already. We're off to the races today, folks. It only took about 1 minute. So if we got a bunch of calls, we'll get to a bunch of calls. It's just, here's the deal. Now that the game's over and we've had a day or so to let things settle down, I am happy that considering we had our third loss on October 15th, this USC game's turned into a big, huge deal, not just for their side, but our side too. It's a really good job by Notre Dame to get us back in this position after suffering 3 losses by mid-October. That's a good job. And this game feels bigger than it probably should feel because of Notre Dame's 3 losses. It's a good job to build this up to what it is. And what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to make this a USC pregame show because I do want us to enjoy what we did to back up college a little bit. So yeah, I want to look at it both ways. Like USC is firmly on my mind as well. However, we can admire a little bit of destroying and embarrassing one of our mortal Catholic enemies too. So I just kind of want to kind of swim around in that a little bit. And I'm very pleased to report all that worrying I did. And some of you did and some of you didn't. But all that worrying about Boston College and how we're going to play at home and the weather and everything. What a good senior day. What a good senior day. I don't know what else to say. Good senior day. Okay. So, all right, let's get through the introductions, roll call, and then we'll get to some phone calls and we'll see what people think. Listen, I want to cover some of Boston College, what we've seen there, but I'm certainly open to turning this. All eyes are looking to LA. This is going to be a big one, and we'll get into it. Okay, this is going to be an important week. And here's the other thing. I know we got the holiday and all that Thursday. I'm going to be doing a chat Wednesday and Friday. People are off work Friday because the holiday Thursday. I'll be there for you. Oh, great. The sex bots are out early today on a Monday. Cheesy Pete's. All right. YouTube. Obviously, you know where to find me. You're already there. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up. I can't see when I'm in this how many people give it a thumbs up, but please do it. It helps in the search algorithm. Appreciate that. Notifications on. That way you'll be alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Call in line 312-988-15. Twitter at Always Irish Inc. Or just type Always Irish in the bar. Emails alwaysirishnD@gmail.com. Fighting Irish Wire. Go check it out. Go check out Fighting Irish Wire, folks. All right. Roll call for a minute. We got a lot of people in here today. Everybody's excited. Then we'll get to the phone calls. We got people that want to talk. Mark Holzum. Good to see Matt Miller. Good to see you as always. Mark Holzum. ND beats SC. LSU loses to Georgia. ND beats LSU in a bowl. That's right. Woo. Man, that is a scenario laden with storylines. There's no doubt about that. Kent, USC's a big test. We got to see where y'all really at. We're about to see where y'all are really at too, Kent. I need you to methodically destroy Michigan, please. Please. Like, I'm not out here saying I love Ohio State. Just beat them, guys, please. That's all I ask of you. If you're going to ever do me one favor in my life, handle those guys for me, please. Paul Conley, good to see you here. Paul, finally ND beats an inferior opponent in a big way. Here's the facts. Boston College is way worse than I thought. Like, they were 3-7. I knew they were bad. They're way worse than any of us thought. And what do you do against a team that's way worse than anybody thought? You beat them and allow them to score 0 points, which is quite embarrassing. Zero is Zero's just embarrassing, man. Like, you can't. I mean, 0 means you did not do anything. Forget a touchdown. You didn't even get close to kick it. It's just a joke. They're horrible, and I love it. Nick Dean, that's right. It's SC week. Go Fighting Irish, beat SC. Telling you, it's just good versus bad. The evil empire. It's coming back to me. It just feels like Pete Carrollish already. You know they're doing it wrong. You know all the money behind the scenes and everything, but you can't really do anything about it. All you could do is on the field. All that I feel. All of that I'm starting to feel with them again. I hope we could bully them around. All right, Jaded. Good to see Jaded in here. The defense was on fire. Angela Rudiger, good morning to you. Mikey Poles in here. My security guard. Always Irish security. I need a big, strong, somebody with some muscles. It ain't going to be me. Oh, my brother's in here. Andrew, good to see you. BC game was great, but all I could think about is how much I want to beat down SC. That's my brother for sure. It's exactly what I'd expect. Matthew Logston, USC is now AP top 5. They're not as good as Clemson. Time to play bully ball, run their asses over. The roadmap's crystal clear. Everybody knows how USC is going to want this game to look, and everybody knows how Notre Dame's going to want this game to look. What it's all going to come down to is who can enforce their will and make the game be played the way they want it to be played so they could dictate pace and dictate everything. Whose will is going to be stronger? Who is going to force the game to be played their way? It's a question we're going to be asking all week. We're going to be eating our turkey asking that question. That's what it's going to be. Greg, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Here's the other thing. We may as well get this out of the way. We're going to get to phone calls soon because they're filling up. We got a lot of people. Paul Conley, I've seen a lot of this Angeli stuff. He didn't play to preserve a red shirt is what I've gathered and heard is the reason. And they didn't want to just have him hand the ball off in a snowstorm, lose that year of eligibility. What does he gain out of that? Like, that's kind of the mentality. I kind of get it. And it's like, I kind of get it, but I also have been wanting Angeli to get time. But is it quality time if you're handing it off in a blizzard and then preserving the red shirt? Like, here's the other thing. No offense. I'm not trying to be mean, but you're preserving a red shirt for a guy I'm not sure is going to be in the mix to be the start, like for meaningful playing time down the road anyways, with the talent we have coming in. And so I don't know if that's fair of me to say or not, like get the kid in there and play while you can or something, but whatever, I get it. They want to preserve that, but a part of me's going, preserve it for what? Because once higher level guys are in here, I don't think it's going to be Angeli time. So whatever. These are concerns I don't want to have long-term. I just don't. I'm so sick of talking about Notre Dame quarterbacks. Oh, Brad Henry, I guess I was wrong at 7-5. Close, 8-4. Well, we'll see if we can flip that on you one more. Greg, run the ball, limit big plays, control the clock, to keep the USC offense off field. Ding, 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 ding. There you go, Greg. There you go. I just talked about the paths and the way that each team wants this game to look. That's Notre Dame's path. It's right out there in front of you, man. You got to play bully ball and win that battle and dictate play. Phil Hag, good to see you, Phil. Always here. How crucial is Ben Morrison going to be this week? Tell you what, 2 against Clemson, 3 against these guys Saturday. If you're trying to make some hay, what he's got a knack for doing it in these big spots. None are bigger than the lights in Hollywood. Let's go, baby. Mikey Poles, what good's the red shirt to a guy barring a major development won't be the starter anyways? That's kind of what I just had in my mind too. So whatever, the staff's going to do what they're going to do. It's not like Angeli would have been in there throwing the ball around, getting his passing arm in shape or something anyways. I get it. Whatever. This quarterback thing, I'm going to say this as respectfully as possible. While I'm excited for USC and whatever the bowl game's going to be, I would be lying if I didn't say I'm excited for us to get through this season, to get to whatever the next iteration of the Notre Dame quarterback room is going to look like. And I'm trying to say that as respectfully as possible. I'm biding my time with Pine, but my patience is about out of the hourglass with some of the struggles here that I just think Notre Dame should be above in that room. All right? Jeez. Stressing me out. Good morning, Dr. John. Good to see you here. V1 Rotate, good to see you. I think you just joined Twitter. I just saw you on Twitter, one or the other. Oh, Greg, it's good to see you here. I think I saw you on Twitter over the weekend too. Oh, everybody's in here. USC week. We are the highest ranked 8-3 team in the AP, ranked 13th. I'm telling you, who had Notre Dame 13 looking to end in the top 10 after Stanford, right? 3 losses by October 15th. It's a really good turnaround. It really is. You just gotta pull the whole thing off here. You got to pull the whole thing off. All right, we got a lot of comments, and I want to get to them. We're going to mix them into the calls. I don't want to make everybody wait if they've been on a long time. Let's get through some calls, get through maybe one of these banks, and then see who else is calling. 219, you're on the line. What's going on?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. So did you stay warm at the game? I know you were there. How cold was it? Or were you so excited that you were warm the whole time?
It wasn't that bad. If you dressed for it, it was all right. The game was the atmosphere, it was kind of weird because I think I tweeted to you that the energy was real bad when we got in the stadium. And it's real weird because I usually leave, the parking lot just in enough time to watch the band march in the tunnel. When they march in, you walk to your seats, and once you come up that ramp and kind of start going down to your seats, you usually can feel an energy.
Yeah.
And that's when you kind of know. Well, this week was weird. It was a real late arriving crowd where it felt like there was no energy when you walked down to your seats. But by the time kickoff started, the energy was good.
Yeah, and that makes sense though. If it's really cold and people are miserable, the tailgate scene isn't going to be what it normally is. I think a lot of people just show up and park and walk in on days like that rather than hang out 5 hours if they're local. I could get that. And then it obviously helps. We had a big chunk play on the first play to get people engaged. I think, how far do you think that went?
Yeah, like we've talked before, actually play well, and that'll get the crowd into the game, right?
Yeah, it's a wild idea to jack up your home crowd with good play.
But how nice was it to know pretty much in the first quarter this was going to be a nice, relaxing Saturday?
I am not used to that, Adam. It was very, very foreign to me to sit there and feel kind of relaxed. I'm just not used to being wound so tight,
Yeah. Yeah, but everything was good. It was fun. The snow in the second half was fun.
Yeah, when you're up by that much, who cares if there's a blizzard? Because you don't need to try and score and catch up or anything. Then you could just play around in it on senior day. It was a cool scene, man. But Adam, here's the way I think. Maybe you're the same way. I can't help it. That moment you mentioned where you knew this wasn't a contest and how this was going to go, it was pretty early. You knew this is something bad for them. Right at that moment, I started thinking about USC. I don't have it in me to just call timeout and then enjoy those rest of the 3 hours of us killing them. My mind started going to LA right away. That's just the way I think, and I couldn't help it.
Yeah, probably all of us. We were actually thinking about it after the Navy game, but we didn't want to say anything, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so I don't know, man. And so good senior day. Happy for all those guys and everything. And then I know you caught up on your watching since you're at the game and watch UCLA, USC. What's your big takeaway from that ball game that we should be aware of in your mind?
I'm so confused if USC is really good or if they're not. It's hard.
Yeah, I get that.
I get that. On the call, how good their offensive line is, but I kept on thinking our D line isn't going to let him sit back there, Williams, like that. But they kept on saying, the Fox call, what was that? Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson was like, "Oh, this offensive line is, one of the best in the country." So I think I'm really scared of Williams and Jordan Addison running around. That's the one thing. If you can limit, if we can somehow slow down that offense just a little bit, I think we might be fine.
Yeah, I think we got to run the ball well. That's number one. And there's no reason not to against their defensive front. And so that way we could dictate pace a little bit, control, eat some clock, keep them off the field. And then you have to get after this quarterback. If you sit back there and he has any time at all, Notre Dame's in trouble. I think you need to get after this guy. And then Morrison's back there to pick off balls. You got to pressure this dude and not let him escape and run on you and extend plays when you do get pressure. That's the other thing I saw him do all night. Wiggle around, spin around, get out of an arm tackle, find a guy downfield for a first down or run for it. Like it's Justin Fields like in that way a little bit, the way he extends plays. I don't want to see any of that either. I'm going to pull out whatever air I have left.
Yeah, I just think it's all on the defense to try to slow them down a little bit. We don't have to shut them down, but just don't let them score 40 points,
Yeah.
If we can keep them in the 20 or 30, I think we can win because it looks like we should be able to pound the rock on them.
Yeah, and you can't have any dumb mistakes. You can't have turnovers, fumbles, none of that. You get Notre Dame, play a clean game, run your power run game the way you want, pick your spots to put it in the air. And then on defense, you just need pressure. You need to get at that guy. If he has time, you're in trouble. Get after him.
It kind of looks like, too, he can be a little bit of a head case because when things weren't going perfect for him and Lincoln Riley were kind of yelling at each other and his body language. So if you could just mess him up a little bit, we're going to have to hit him and mess him up. We can't let him be smiling and running around having fun. And
yeah, and
we're going to beat them.
Listen, man, I know it's UCLA and that's a big rival for them. I'm just telling you though, man, that guy he had a lot of swag and he was chirpy and he was bouncing around after that game. And I'm not going to lie, it got to me a little bit. And all I could picture is our guys just beating him and hitting him all night Saturday, just hitting him, just nonstop. Adam, I've said this before. Notre Dame can't let this rivalry flip the first year we both have new head coaches. That's a bad look. It can't happen. Year one, I'm not letting this power dynamic flip. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, I agree. They can't. And I truly think the USC people, they think they got this game easy. I'm telling you. They're not expecting the physical game that we're bringing to LA. They're not.
No, they're not. And you know what else pisses me off too? They're all going to put down the surfboards and fill up that dump out there for this game and act like they're there every week and they care about football. It pisses me off. It's never not going to piss me off. Every other home game, they're doing something else in LA because LA is so cool and stylish and hip. Why don't you surf that day and let the 14 real people in that state that care about football show up? It pisses me off. They're going to fill that place up and act like they care. It's a bunch of fair weather fake fans, and I don't respect it. Yeah, look at this, Adam. You got me all worked up at 9:15 a.m. on a Monday.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for.
I was going to find a way to get worked up one way or another. We may as well just do it right away. It wasn't going to take me long to get cranked up. What?
Hey, it wouldn't be the show without you getting cranked up, John.
That's a very good point. It'd just be like every other show. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, one question. Did we play against Jordan Addison when he was at Pitt? Can you remember if we played him?
I don't remember that. Or was he hurt when we played? I don't remember that. Maybe somebody in the chat will. I don't remember that either.
He looked so fast.
Yeah.
And
it's a problem.
Really fast.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did notice at the end of the game, they threw like a swing pass to him, and he got hit pretty good. And I think he went out of the game, and they were kind of looking at him. So, and I know he's been injured, some of the season. So I wonder if they're going to throw those short passes to him, we need to hit him too, make him feel it.
Man, we got like some people in the chat are saying USC's offensive line's really good, and other people are kind of saying they're overrated. I'm not sure what the exact stats are on where they fall on that.
Yeah, it's hard because, I mean, what have they played? I mean, UCLA's pass defense I know was bad, but a lot of the national media said they were pretty physical. So, like, I'm like confused. I don't know if I know they're up for the Joe Moore Award, their O-line, but who have they played that's real physical?
Right. To properly gauge who they're pushing around, right? Out west most of the time.
I mean, they pushed around Stanford and we didn't, but
yeah, I can't. That's a very good point. Who didn't? Yeah, it's bizarre. It is just bizarre. I don't know, man. It, like you, there's a lot to consider, and it's just total contrasting styles. This is going to be really, really interesting because the way these two teams have been winning this year, completely opposite. It's going to be super interesting to see.
Well, I guess my last comment is so you can get some other callers. I think it's going to come down to if we see our D-line pressuring him and getting him shook up early, I think it will be a good night for us. If he's just standing back there, just delivering the ball with no one around him, it's going to be a long night. I think it comes down to that.
Yeah, and you know what, Foskey, you got the sack record at home. That's beautiful. I need one more just savage game out of Foskey. I'm talking, give me one of them pump blocks and about 2.5 sacks or something. I need that dude to crank it up this week. If he has one more big week in him, crank it up here in LA, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. It's another top 5 team. So let's see if Freeman can do more in one season against top-ranked teams that Kelly did in 12 years.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's how I was going to finish. I was going to say you really need to take a look, if you're a Notre Dame fan, at what's on the line, big picture here. And one of the big item lines is, even with the limitations of this team, and there are many, I think, you could be in a position to knock off 2 top 5 teams in Freeman's first year, and that is upside we have not seen from Notre Dame in my cognizant lifetime, the last 25, 30 years.
I mean, look how much harder this schedule was in Freeman's first year, and where he had to get his staff working together.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he had some new backup quarterback, a lot of changes. This schedule that he had to deal with compared to what Kelly had the last 5 years. I mean, even if we don't win this game, obviously I wanted to win the game bad, but I mean, it's pointing up big time, John. I mean, I'm real excited.
It really is exciting. And if you're able to get this win, it even adds to that. And even if you don't, there'll be some perspective there with all the changes in the first year and this and that. But we have a big opportunity here, and I just hope we're ready for it. Saturday's going to be a big day around the country, and I'm excited, man. Thank you for the call, Adam. I'm glad you had a good day, braved the cold out there, and got to see a big win.
Yep, it was fun, and thanks for having me on, John. We'll talk to you.
Yep, give me a call later in the week, man. We got a lot of time to go yet till this game. Give me a call later in the week.
All right, we'll talk to you.
See ya. Oh man! All right. What else do we got here? 737. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm soaking in the senior day victory win and have all eyes on LA. How about you?
Man, it was a great game. I loved watching it. The way they started off, just everything. I think it looked really, really good. I would have loved. Everybody liked the snow. I did as well. I was a little disappointed only because I think they did come out pretty strong, and I would have really liked to have seen that second half of just domination to just kind of walk into USC with that.
You know what? I thought of that too. And then it's like, oh, it's snowing so hard in the second half. Isn't this fun? It's like, a messy snow game. And my thought was, it's only fun because we're up by a lot to 0, and there's no chance they're ever going to come back in this weather or in general. I had that thought too, but you know what, man? The way this year's gone, I'm not complaining about that win at home at all. Like, I'm just going to take it. It was beautiful.
No, that's the same thing, man. I'm glad that we're so far up because we're not, it's hard to come back or score any points when it gets like that.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask
also.
you, what was your favorite part of this win? Was it the offense? Was it the records being broken? The defense? What did you like most about this as we head to LA?
If I had to pick one thing, it's Morrison and the defense. Morrison is just.
Yep.
I'm watching that game. This kid is such a stud. I'm going out and buying this kid's jersey. I mean, to be able to have him, to keep him, have him for the next few years, watch him develop and just continue to get better, and his humility. I was watching the post game conferences, and you could hear him talking. One of the reporters, one of the journalists, had asked, "Hey, what's the most number of interceptions you've ever had during a game?" And his answer was fantastic. He was like, "I think I've had one in a game in high school," and he goes, "but I played mostly offense." And so, man, you think about what this kid has accomplished in such a short period of time, and the fact that in high school he played, it sounds like, predominantly offense. And so, where this kid goes, his ceiling is just so high at this point, man. I'm just a huge fan of Morrison.
Him being so young is the best part of it. Like, it's absolutely exactly what Notre Dame needs more of, is these young guys that you're not quite sure what you're going to get, and then they end up being really, really good earlier than you think. And then that's a future leader of the secondary and a physical leader right now by example. It's exactly what Notre Dame needs more of. And you don't teach some of what he has, which is just a knack and a feel of where to be and how to position himself and just a feel of where that ball is going to be. He's doing a great job, and he's so young. It's absolutely beautiful. He's on a roll. And what a better week do I want a secondary guy feeling like he's going to intercept a bunch of passes than going into this game. He's going to have chances.
So this is going to be a big week for him. I think the crazy thing is, and it's funny because I'm watching the game, and as I'm watching the game, they go for him early on. Then they go for him again. He gets the pick. Then they keep, and I'm like, how are they still going after Ben Morrison at this point? Like, if you haven't figured out or scouted them, this kid's good and he's solid. And then he gets kind of that tip pass as well. Like I said, just all in all, though, I think next week is going to be huge for Ben Morrison. Him and the defense, just in general, they were smothering. They did a great job. They really shut down that quarterback. He was so frazzled by the time he had that fumble. I don't think that he was coming back from that mentally. They were just all over him. So defense was the best, I think, for sure. Offense secondly. And then I think, you look at it as a whole, this was probably special teams unit worst game, with a few out of bound kicks. And then, I think it's what's his name dropping that punt return and for the fumble.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, you can't complain. That's a great game against BC.
Yep, it is.
Pretty much everybody hates. So.
Yep. I love it. They are 0-0. Anytime you shut out a team, it's just embarrassing. It's fantastic. I love it. So if you're like me, late in that game, you started thinking about LA and USC. What's your roadmap there? I think it's clear, but I would love to know what you hear. I think the path's clear. How do we beat them?
Obviously, I watched the USC game right after the Notre Dame game, watching them play UCLA, and I'm just thinking the whole time, do either one of these teams play defense? I mean, it was crazy.
They had, listen,
guys are putting up
16 possessions in a row. That game went without a punt at one time. 16 in a row, both sides with no punts. Like Adam said, the first caller, sometimes it's hard to gauge exactly where reality is when it seems that out of touch, where like no one could get any stops. And it just kind of, that's not normal football gameplay to me. It just makes me wonder, like, where the reality is if Notre Dame's in that moment and not this team. Because there was just no defense back and forth, down the field, down the field, down the field. it was a little annoying watching their game. I was just getting annoyed that there's no defense either way as a guy who really likes good defense.
Yeah, I'm watching the game. I'm just like, just get a stop. Like, can you just get a stop? And nobody could.
Yeah, but like all it takes sometimes is like one negative play to get somebody behind the chains, like a big penalty to put them behind. Like nothing worked. They just kept going down the field and then coming down the other way. You know what? Maybe it's good that they won that game and they're feeling themselves and everything. Like maybe that's the angle we should want, is them feeling good coming off that rivalry win, thinking it's going to be easy to score and go up and down the field. And then you face us. Maybe you realize it isn't so easy.
I think Williams is USC. You stop Caleb Williams, you stop USC. I know they've made a few ads, but obviously he was the big pickup that came over with Lincoln Riley, who was a really good coach. I mean, you can't take that away from him. If you talk about who's got the edge there, it's probably USC. They certainly have it for quarterback. Yeah, if you're looking at statistically, so USC is number 68 against the rush, and they give up 4.62 yards per rush and 148 per game. So I mean, we have that. USC is, and we're 42 against the rush, giving up 130 or 3.83 per rush. So that our game plan really needs to be our Ohio State game plan plus some better execution. Keep Caleb Williams off the field when he's on the field. Obviously, make sure we're pressuring him and doing everything else. Let's see, for rushing offense, Notre Dame is 36, USC 47. For passing offense, this is USC. I mean, they're number 4. And whereas obviously Notre Dame is pretty low at 113. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think the path is clear. We're going to have to run it. We should be able to run it.
Yeah.
We have to stop Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I think that our D-back segment or our backfield is pretty strong. I think it's going to be one of the better that USC faces. I mean, their schedule altogether, any of the games that they played against anybody that was fairly good, Utah, they lost by a point, right? And then you got, where is it? They beat Oregon State by 3, who was number 22 at the time. And then everything else is just kind of scrubs that, other than UCLA, which again, they've beaten by 3 points. So anybody who's even remotely good that they've played, it's been a fairly close game. So I don't see any different. I think I saw yesterday that we're a 5-point dog already to USC. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, again, I think we got a really good chance. It's just going to be how does our backfield play? How does our front four play?
I think it's very important.
Come out, we're good.
I think it's important that Notre Dame has enough control of the game that the game plays kind of dictated more by us than them. And running the ball is a big piece of that. That's where I think Notre Dame gets in trouble. If things flip or something goofy happens and then you got to kind of play their game, Notre Dame's in big, big trouble. Notre Dame cannot end up in a position where they're going to have to pass it to come back in this game or something like that. No, that's not Notre Dame's path here. And I'd be gravely concerned if it turns out being that. Containing Williams is a big deal to me. It's like I'm in the Chicago area. I watch Justin Fields run around. The pass isn't open. Nobody in the route's open, but then he runs in circles and gets a first down anyways or finds a guy 7 seconds later. Those are the plays we need to stop. I watch Williams do it every week, and it makes my hair fall out. Somebody's got to be on that guy so we can't just run around and buy time and run for it or find a guy at the last second. He's very, very gifted. He's really good.
He's amazing. And I hate him for it.
Yep.
It's terrible. You dog somebody because they're natural given.
But do you know what the thing is? Let me tell you this though. I don't hate that aspect of it. Good for the kid that he's talented. I think it rubs me the wrong way, kind of how the whole thing ended up, that he ended up doing it for USC. I think that's a part that has me rubbed the wrong way with the whole, let's just take the whole band out to LA and all the money. And then that rubs me the wrong way. I'm good for the kid. He's talented. It's fun to watch. I just don't love the way it all added up to where our rival loaded up on all this talent, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's not like they had a very good record last year. I think they maybe won like 4 or 5 games last year. Interestingly enough, USC is total defense ranked number 96, whereas Notre Dame is number 17. So it's almost every week where we're playing these games. The matchups for us are pretty good. I mean, they're basically saying it's our strong against their strong, and we've done fairly well in that regard when we're playing good teams. So again, I think we got a good shot. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think Notre Dame just is going to be a tough one for them. We'll see how it goes, but man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous already, but I think they're going to come out pumped.
I know. I'm telling you, man, there's going to be.
I think it's going to be big.
Listen, there's going to be a lot of tough Notre Dame discussions being had around that Thanksgiving dinner table this week. I'm telling you, man, everybody's meeting with their families. We're going to be breaking down Caleb Williams' film. My dad's going to be yelling about something. Like, I already know how this is going to go. It's one of those weeks. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Oh, I could see it. I think everybody talking about Angeli, and I was thinking the same thing. And then I'm reading and I'm listening to a few things, and it makes sense in terms of keeping his eligibility. I mean, what's he had? Maybe like 5-10 snaps this whole year in 2 different games. So then he comes in. Let's just say he comes in during versus Boston College. But then let's say he gets hurt. Then obviously who's Pine's backup? But or let's just say that Pine gets hurt, and then you need Angeli next week, and then possibly for a bowl game. And then at that point, he's lost his eligibility for what? 20, 30 snaps. And I don't know if it's more so him being able to redshirt for the ability to do so. I think it's almost more. It makes me think like, are the coaches saying, "Hey, we got a kid here." Like you said before, he's probably not. Depending on what comes in, does this kid see the field? Who knows as a starter? But ultimately, I think there's more of a possibility based on what we have coming in over the next few years that he transfers out. And if he is going to transfer out, he might as well transfer out with as much time as he possibly has.
Yeah.
As opposed to kind of wasting it, like I said, on maybe 30 snaps for the year.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm just telling everybody now, I am just biding my time, waiting for the hourglass to run out on Notre Dame quarterbacking this year. Like, I'm just about pushed to my limit with the limitations every single week in Notre Dame's quarterback room. I'm ready for us to kind of get through this and see what comes next. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just ready for something different with a little different upside here. So find a way to get this one, and then we see what the bowl scenario is like. So what are you going to be thinking of the rest of the week leading up to this game? I know how you are. We've talked enough. I know your wheels are spinning. What are a couple things that are going to be on your mind the rest of the week till this game?
The thought that I have almost after every game and every week as I talk to people is if we just, and again, criticism, it was a great game, and I don't want to take that away from anyone, but there's still criticisms out there for a few play calls and a few things. But my takeaway from every game is, my goodness, if we just had a really good quarterback, how dangerous we could be. I mean, we could be. Again, I think if we have a good quarterback, we're probably in the talk for college football playoff. And so that's my big thing. It's just like, man, it's always like, what could we do with that? But then at the other side too, I almost feel bad. Like I'm always dogging Pine. I mean, the kid's, he's only got 1 loss as a starter. He has settled into that 50% completion range, regardless if it's windy, regardless if it's snowing, regardless if he's in, a dome. It's just kind of what he settled out. So my thought every week is, hey, I appreciate that he's serviceable. He's not putting us in a position to lose per se, but he's also not putting us in a position to win. There was a few passes that he had this week that were not that great or just kind of off the mark. But again, it's windy. There's a lot of stuff going on. I get that. So
yeah, but your point is
criticisms on Pine.
Your point is made accidentally here. You're talking about, okay, I think we got a guy now who isn't going to hurt us, isn't going to kill us. Now, are already wrong answer. This is Notre Dame. I need a quarterback that I feel like when you're like, how do we win this game? The quarterback does well because he's our best player and the most important guy on the field. Like, that should be Notre Dame's path here, is like, why every week I have to scheme Notre Dame's quarterback out of the game for us to win instead of in the game. We got this all backwards, folks, and it needs to change, and I think it's going to in a couple years. I really do. But that's messed up to me, that all my game plans are how we can minimize the impact of Notre Dame's quarterback. That is messed up, man. That is messed up, and it needs to end. And I think it's going to in the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we've been dealing with it for a little bit. Like I said, we got lucky with Book when he came in, and he was as good as he was. I'm still kind of giggling and laughing a little bit about, everybody's talking about the Jerkovic letter and the criticisms that he had of Notre Dame. And it's like, dude, stop crying. You couldn't beat out Book, who was a 3-star. And you know what? Honestly, if he stayed at Notre Dame, there's a good chance he's probably playing right now.
Oh, yeah.
He'd
have the best arm. He would have the best arm of any of these guys by far. Wouldn't even be close. Yeah, it was weird. Whatever. See you later, man. Like, none of them can say anything now. Look at that score. So I don't know, man. I want you to enjoy Thanksgiving and relax and have fun. And call me later in the week, because people, I think, are going to get more and more worked up. This is like Ohio State all over again. So give me a call later in the week. I don't care if it's a holiday or not. I'm running my regular show. So circle back with me with more thoughts as the week goes along.
Oh man, I got a good week for making calls into Always Irish. We got a lot of meetings and conference calls that have been canceled already. So you'll probably hear from me a good amount this week. And I will say this: looks like Minchie looks like he had a good time over there. Hopefully we get a commit out of that kid soon and we start moving forward. John, great game. Man, we'll talk more about USC. And as always, we appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
I appreciate it. Look up some more of those numbers you're good at. Give me a call back Wednesday or Friday or Saturday. I'll be here all week. Have a good one, man. Thanks for the call. Have a good Monday. What a nice guy. Always does his research. Dude, Brad, what are you talking about? Everybody's going off on Brad. What in the world is going on? Brad just can't help himself. ND has no chance. This game is over as we speak. I'm sure you were saying that about Clemson too, Brad. Like, right? There's no way Brad was being like, yeah, Notre Dame can hang with Clemson. I'm sure you probably said we were going to get blown out by them. I don't know, man. Brad, I don't know if you just like love Notre Dame and hate yourself, or love Notre Dame and hate me and want to get me worked up, or if you just don't like Notre Dame at all but want everybody here to get mad. I can't figure you out. I can't figure it out. I just can't. I don't know what's real and not. We got 336-224-707-937-818-336. You're in the mix. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Yeah. Good morning. So that was fun. Demolishing Boston College was fun. Like,
anytime you blow out a rival that you hate, it's a good time. I agree. Fantastic. Making snow angels. Great time.
I do wish that the NBC broadcast would stop being like, hey, remember that time in 1993? It's like, shut up.
You know what I wish about the NBC broadcast? I wish it wasn't a terrible production. That would make me happy. I mean this. Listen, man, I mean this 100%. I mean this 100%. If you really get into the game, like if you're intensely watching a Notre Dame home game this year, the announcers almost fade away to where they don't even exist. If you are really, really zoned in on the game, paying close attention, these guys have no gravitas to the extent you almost forget they're there, and their background gray noise you don't even hear. I am dead serious. There's no balls in that booth. There's no gravitas. There's nothing that tells you anything important's happening, and I don't like it.
I do not mind Garrett all that much. Like, he's better than
equal to what Drew Brees was. He's better than what Flutie was, which is insane a lot. Collinsworth is the issue for me. Like, he's bad. He's not ready. He's not ready for prime time. And they put him out there. Maybe in 10 years he'll be ready. He'll be ready to broadcast. But right now, it's like,
yeah, I know. But you know what, though? Listen, that's a minor complaint to some of the ones I have about, the roster and the way we played at home. Like, that's a secondary level complaint. So as this game was going on, we started to pull away. Were you all wrapped up in BC, or were you already thinking of USC like a lot of people was, and so was I?
There was part of me that's thinking of USC. To me, part of me was like, yeah, we finally smashed a bad team. That, like, after Stanford and Cal and Marshall, these bad teams that we either lost to or struggled against, you're like, okay, we finally smashed somebody. We finally beat somebody that was terrible. Good. Now do more of that. Yeah, part of me was like, okay, now on to USC week. USC is complicated to me because they look to have, on paper, a great offense. Caleb Williams looks like a top tier quarterback. They're already trying to give him the Heisman, which I'm not sure about that. They're, they look like they have a high-powered offense. My issue is, like, the best passing defense they played so far has been Fresno State. And it's like, seriously, are you guys good, or are you guys just playing, like...
It's hard to gauge. Right. Yeah. It's very hard to gauge. And I was thinking that watching them play UCLA. I'm like, all right, they're going up and down the field, but this is also exceptionally poor defense with no chance. Like, they're not stopping anything. It's contrasting styles, and it is just the ultimate USC Notre Dame situation. Like, Midwestern, run the ball, play good defense, and then all flash and swag out west, throw it all over and do all. It is just, it's setting up for classic Notre Dame USC. Like, I love how different the setups are. It's so interesting to me.
I actually think that the same thing with the offensive line too. Like, they're up for the Gilmore Award, which I would hate as a Notre Dame fan just because, like, I feel like that's our award. Like, that's Notre Dame's award. Gilmore was our offensive line coach, and I don't want USC having it.
Yeah.
But there's part of me that's like, is this Gilmore Award talk for them? Is it legit, or is it, again, same thing where the defensive lines you're playing against kind of suck? You're beating up on those teams. Can our defensive line, put some pressure on Caleb Williams here? The thing is I don't know what to expect from USC because legitimately they have not played a defense that's as good as Notre Dame is. But they do have a lot of weapons on offense. So I'm like, is that middle point between are they that good or they play nobody? Is that middle point? Can Notre Dame, outscore them with that middle point that they're going to try to get to?
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. I just, don't you agree? Notre Dame needs to set a tone early against USC. You can't let them come out, fling it all over on you, go down the field in front of the home crowd and do it. That can't be. I think Notre Dame needs to calm that crowd down, all the surfers that put their board down for the night, and calm them down and settle into this ball game early.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say is I've read some things from USC people where they're like, oh, Notre Dame's one-dimensional. And I'm like, yeah, they might be. Notre Dame might be. Come to us saying we were one-dimensional. There are people saying that. That doesn't mean you can stop the one dimension we have.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if you're going to be pretty much one-dimensional, you got to be really, really good if you're one-dimensional. I just think Notre Dame's going to be able to move the ball, and I do. I just think we're going to be able to run it. And then you pick your spots for Pine to find Mayer over the middle and a crosser up the seam. Like, pick your spots there. The recipe's right here for Notre Dame. It's just a matter of can they execute it. The recipe's not hard. Everybody can see it. Can you make it happen, though? That's the big question.
a very interesting game. The one thing I'll say is, amongst your talk of like not wanting to flip this rivalry and have USC, win a game in this rivalry, I think the even bigger thing is USC sitting there looking like, oh, we want to be a playoff team, and I would just love to steal that from them. Like, I would love to steal. They finally had something to play for in this rivalry. They don't have anything to play for in like 15 years in this rivalry. Notre Dame has had stuff to play for in the rivalry.
Yep.
USC hasn't.
Yep. I just can't have it flip.
I would love to get like,
can't flip.
let me do that.
Yep.
I would love to take it from them because they have tried in a couple of our playoff runs. We ended the year in Los Angeles. I think it was, 2012, 2018. We both ended the year in Los Angeles. Ended up in the playoffs, but those were really tight games. I would love to get them back for that.
Yep.
I would love to take away from them that playoff opportunity that they think they have right now. I'd love to get like, no, that's not yours.
Yep. And in doing that, not only would mean you're shutting out your Catholic rival, then you're ruining your other rivals' playoff hopes. And then that also means you finish the year with 2 top 5 wins in Freeman's first year. Wow. Like, that's a lot in one year to break down and wrap your mind around. So I don't know, but it's going to be wild. Why don't you give me a call later in the week as we get close to the game? Break some of it down for me.
All right. Sounds good.
Have a good one, man. Happy Monday. Oh, here's a good question from Indy Dan. This is a really good question. 224-707-937-818 coming up. Indy Dan, John, do you want the ball first or would you defer? I'll ask the chat people that. Put it in the chat what you would want to do. Usually I always say you want to, if you're Notre Dame, you want to put your defense out there and get off the field, and then you gain that possession out of the half, potential double up at the end of the half, coming out of the half, that whole thing. As good as we think we can run the ball, is anybody open to getting the ball first and putting together a 7-minute drive and running it? And going down the field and scoring, sucking the air out of that place, take a 6-minute drive, run the ball. Is anybody open to that? Or do we still want to put the defense out there and show you could get off the field against Williams and them right away? I don't know. I'm always a defer type guy. Unless you're confident you have an offense that could humiliate the other team right away. Andrew Gilmore says, drain the clock, get the ball first. Some people are saying receive, some defer. I guess that's a good question to ask then, depending on where you fall. I would like to think put our defense out there, knock them around, then get the ball back. I'm not going to act like I'm scared of their offense at all. I'd rather see it and hit them early and show we're not afraid of you, and we're not the Pac-12 where you're going to be able to just tiptoe around all night and make all the throws and plays. We're not going to allow it. Oh, here's people saying Bowen's already out the door. Yeah, because Oklahoma's got it going on. Oklahoma's garbage now. What's going to happen when they go down into even a tougher conference? And I'm supposed to believe they're awesome and this is all great and our best guys want to go there because it's so much better. Give me a break. Give me a break. 224. Give me some more. What's going on today? Happy Monday.
Hey, John, this is Andrew Gilmore. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the call, my friend. So what are your thoughts on BC Senior Day and what we have upcoming here Thanksgiving weekend?
Yeah, so just 2 points on BC. First one is it should not be overlooked about Isaiah Foskey. I mean, he has been an awesome Notre Dame player. He won't go down in history as like the most flashy Notre Dame player, but he was awesome, and we should we're going to really miss him, especially if you look at our defensive end depth behind him. So he was awesome. He deserves a ton of credit. The other thing is Mickens, the defensive backs coach. I think we've got to really sign him, and I would even think about promoting him to like a co-defensive coordinator because he's like Marcus Freeman's right-hand man. He gets it that the defensive backs needed to be upgraded athletically, and Ben Morrison is proof of that. So do not let that guy go because I got to think some SEC schools are going to be looking at him to try to replicate Marcus Freeman's model. So yeah, that's what I'd say on the BC game.
Yeah, oh man, I sometimes it's just really hard. It feels like Notre Dame's had 10 different seasons in one, with all of the ups and the downs and the instability and the high points and the low points. Sometimes it's hard for me to calibrate and figure out exactly what's the most real version of us. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, but I just think this is a transitional year, and I think you're starting to see some of the athleticism that I think you've been banging the drum on Marcus Freeman about recruiting, but like NBA is always, like, even during the Kelly years, historically recruited pretty decent. They were never not like right now, Michigan is 24th in the recruiting rankings. Like, there were very few years where Brian Kelly was that bad, but what his issue was is, who cares if you get 10, 4 or 5 star tight ends? Like, you can't compete against Alabama and Clemson if you don't have the skill player talent.
Yeah.
And I think Marcus Freeman is clearly recruiting that. You look at our wide receivers and running back room. But then the flip side of the ball is you need good defensive backs, and if you're going to cover these wide receivers, and so they're clearly upgrading. And I know people are saying Peyton Bowen is going somewhere, but he's still committed to Notre Dame right now, and if he sticks, that's like a huge, huge upgrade. Our secondary is going to be awesome, something that we've never seen, which will be really important because on the message boards, a lot of people are discounting Lincoln Riley. They think like his teams are soft, which they kind of are soft, but his offenses are ridiculous. Like, and I think to your point earlier about whether or not we kick or take the ball, I think psychologically, Lincoln Riley tries to get up on you really, really early, score like 3 touchdowns in the first quarter,
Yep.
take you out of your game, and try to, just mentally just take you out of your game. And so that's why I'm like, we need the athletes to keep up with what USC is going to become in the future. Because you look at all the awesome quarterbacks and wide receivers who left the state of California during the Clay Helton tenure, that's not going to happen anymore. So just big picture, we need guys like Mickens, McCullough, Chancey Stuckey to stay on the staff, really get maybe 2, 3, 4 really good recruiting classes, because I promise you, USC is going to upgrade or continue to upgrade their skill talent. And, it's going to be Caleb Williams this year, but Malachi Nelson is another guy that's in their recruiting class who, if Notre Dame had, we would be doing jumping jacks. I mean, that guy could be another like Bryce Young type quarterback. So USC's here to stay. And so this might be the worst USC team we play in the next few years. So
that might be true, but I'm also going to tell you this. This will be Marcus Freeman's worst team at Notre Dame by far of the entire time he's here.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to me to get this rivalry off to on the right foot. The first year, you're each in your new dynamic with your new hot, young, energetic, good recruiting, exciting coach everybody likes. That's why it's a big deal to me. They're going to keep getting better, but so are we. I always keep that in mind. This is going to be Freeman's worst Notre Dame team by far.
The one thing I worry about, though, John, is we're getting all these awesome like wide receivers, running backs, defensive backs. Foskey is definitely going to the NFL this year. And I've seen flashes of other defensive ends, but I don't think anyone I've seen so far has anywhere near the skills that Foskey has. So that worries me a bit on the defensive line, because I think your secondary is only as good as your pass rush. So I definitely think Notre Dame needs to hit the portal and bring in a D end or two. Because I'm not sure. Because like if you give a guy like Caleb Williams all day, or we're going to play Ohio State again next year, whoever they're going to try out at quarterback, you need to get pressure on him.
Yep, for sure. It's, I don't know, man, this is exciting. Now, what do you think about, what kind of job would it tell you Freeman did if he was end up somehow to get 2 top 5 wins in year 1 with all these problems on the roster? How much do you take from that as far as like what's possible on the high end? Or is that just situational? Doesn't mean that much to you. But those top 5 wins, we begged Kelly for forever and could never get. And now we're looking at maybe 2 of them year 1 with the roster nobody's in love with. That seems pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think it's I'll say one thing very positive about Marcus Freeman. One thing that we need to work on. The first thing is top 5 wins. That's huge. I mean, look at Miami, for instance. Like Cristobal is supposed to be like Marcus Freeman, a dynamic recruiter. They're playing terribly, and then they just had their quarterback get flipped from Miami to Florida. And so it was really important that we beat teams like Clemson, go on the road, beat Syracuse, because we've been able to maintain our class, and not only maintain it, we're going to likely get Kenny Minchie, which is huge. The second thing, though, I'd say is this will be a huge game for us because we have not been up for games like, multiple weeks in a row. We almost always have like a huge game, and then we go and we have a letdown game.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a real important test for the coaching staff, with all the distractions with like LA and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. We cannot come out flat against USC, or else they're going to blow our doors off. We've got to have a really solid game plan. I would say very similar to Ohio State, play everything in front of us. Do not let those wide receivers run, downfield with like coverage breaks and stuff like that. Because if we go down 21-0, even though they have a shit defense, Pine is not going to be able to get into a shootout.
No. We're dead. Yeah. We're dead. No, that's why I say Notre Dame dictating the way this game looks and is played is the key to the game, because if you end up behind by 14, 17, nothing, you're dead. Notre Dame's dead. What are you going to do then? Be down 2.5 scores and then run the ball for 10 plays, take all like, no. Notre Dame's dead. That's why we have to dictate to them how this is going to look, not the other way around at their place. The path is so clear. Notre Dame just needs to stay on it. And you know what? Where I said this last, Clemson, it was like the path's clear, but can they do it? Wow, they really did. They actually did it. It's just such contrasting styles. This is so interesting to me.
The last thing I would mention, John, because I know you got a bunch of callers, but we will win the game if we have sustained drives and it ends in touchdowns. If we're kicking field goals with Groupie, it's almost like not even scoring.
Yep. Think, against this team, for sure.
Yeah. What's that?
I said against this team and the way they're capable of putting up points, for sure. I mean, you need 7s, not 3s. 3s don't cut it when you're playing an offense capable of what they're doing. You need 7s. And you know what else? I wonder if Reese and Freeman know that, and if they'll scheme the offense to be a little bit more aggressive or plan on going forward on 4th and short rather than kick and think of it that way. I wonder if that's in play or not, figuring we're going to need 7s and not 3s. Let's plan this to be more aggressive on 3rd down. I don't know, but you're absolutely right. In that red zone, you need 7s. On the flip side, anytime you hold them to 3, that's a win. That's a win. I could give up 3s to Caleb Williams all day. They can kick 5 field goal. I don't care how many if they're 3s. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I would just say that I think you just said it, that our red zone defense has not been great this year, but they've got to step up, and I think it's a big win that I think that the guy who was the Oregon running back who transferred to USC, I think he's injured, so they're going with a backup running back. So
yes, I do believe
everything in front of us.
Yeah, the week before the UCLA game, I believe he got hurt, and it is their starting guy. And you know what they're going to want to do? Whip it around.
Definitely. So hopefully, and then the last thing. Sorry, I keep saying the last thing.
Oh, sure.
Cam Hart limped off the field against Boston College. I know he's not been as good as Ben Morrison, but everybody knows Jordan Addison on USC, but they have 2 other wide receivers that are awesome. So we need all the reinforcements in the backfield. So hopefully Cam Hart is not like injured. So because they've got some really dynamic playmakers.
Yeah, well, and then Brandon Joseph didn't play either against Boston College. So
exactly.
I'm hoping
Xavier Watts.
Yeah,
I'm pretty pumped about Xavier Watts. He had an awesome game against BC. So
yeah, it's I'm telling you though, I got a feeling our guys are going to be ready. I think that they have an axe to grind, something to prove about how the year started. I think they're maturing a little bit as a team. I personally feel that I could see Freeman kind of easing into being a head coach. He seems a little bit more comfortable and under control of what's going on. And I just think this team might be ready to to make a big statement to end the year. I hope I'm right. I don't want to see this rivalry flip year one. I'm going to lose my mind.
And Pine cannot stare down Mayer this week because USC is not a good defense, but they caused so many turnovers. DTR blew the game by throwing 3 interceptions. And so USC is going to triple team and jump routes against Mayer. So I really hope they're game planning Colby and Thomas some plays because I just think that's the low-hanging fruit for USC. They're going to jump routes against Mayer. And so hopefully Pine doesn't just stare him down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I just Saturday's going to be a long day to wait all day, watch Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, everybody's going to be juiced up. This is why we love college football is a weekend like this. It's going to be fantastic. Thanks for the call and all the well put together thoughts, my friend. Call me later in the week.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Have a good one. Have a good day. Oh, man. Bend but don't break. Whatever, man. I'm just telling you, the threes are wins against Caleb Williams. Like, I'll take it. Here we go. Lit a candle before Mass on Sunday to pray for the sinners and that Minchie commits to the Irish. Paul, you got to do what you got to do. Oh, I hit another dumb button. 707. Happy Monday. You're on the air.
Hey, John.
What's going on?
Hey, we had a great win this weekend, man. It was great, to stop a mud hole in inferior competition. It was nice to see finally. Not play down to it.
Man, it felt good to not be stressed out all day. That's for sure. And doing it against a hated, bitter rival I don't care for also helped. It was beautiful. Love it.
It was nice. And then to be able to continue to put our foot on their throat even throughout the blizzard and the cold and everything. It looked like this coaching staff really had our soldiers prepared. So that was very encouraging to see, man. Especially, and also our younger players being able to get in, Snead going in and doing his thing, and then Ben Morrison. I mean, what else can you say about Ben Morrison? I mean, we're watching a phenom blossom right before our eyes. It's awesome to see.
Yep, and that would be the Morrison thing would be good no matter what position or what team he was on. A guy that young balling out this much would be great. The fact that it's at Notre Dame and it's a secondary player that young doing it at that position, it means the world to me because I feel like we always need help there. And him being so young, it's beautiful. He's going to be a captain and a leader of that secondary for years to come, and it's beautiful.
Oh yeah. He's one of those players where it can, at the end of his Notre Dame career, it's whimsical as far as it'll seem as though he had just got there when he leaves. So we have to appreciate what we have and what we are seeing. You know what I mean? Because it will come and go so fast.
Yeah.
Just like Michael Mayer. It's same sort of deal. So I'm just glad he's on our team. Let's just say that.
Yeah. It's beautiful. So what did you watch USC, UCLA? Have you watched much of USC this year? What are your thoughts as we look towards LA?
I have not watched it. I will be watching them, but I did watch the game, the UCLA game, USC game after hours. And, so we've had some problems with the Pac-12 this year, as far as us figuring out what they're doing, the speed and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So this is our third crack at the Pac-12. So hopefully, it appears that we're peaking, right now. So I'm a little bit nervous, but not too nervous. As long as we stay focused and disciplined, I think that we'll be okay. And that's another trait that we've seen in these latter stages of this season is this team has really become a lot more disciplined. You don't see too many penalties during the game, which is awesome because, at least we will always be in any game when you're disciplined like that. So, I'm encouraged. I don't think we'll have any issues if we continue to play discipline.
Yeah. And so what do you want to see the game plan this week? Pound the rock and then just get physical and get after Williams and contain him? I'm worried about the contain on him. Him just being able to sit in the pocket and throw is one part of the equation. I think we can handle that part. I don't like the idea of him running around, scrambling, buying time, spinning around, getting a first down. How do you stop that? You have somebody spy that guy and hit him? What are you going to do to stop that? Because I'm already picturing in my mind him running around buying time, and it's driving me crazy already 5 days early.
Yeah, have Leofow spy him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And as far as offense, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So, just throw a little more wrinkles in our running game and whatnot. But, it has worked for us this season. So, let's not go out there and start getting cute. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
do what we know best, and that's blocking, hat on a hat, and opening up those holes and use our three-headed monster. I mean, why not? And that opens up and as you see them start to drift down into the box, you got 8 or 9 in the box.
That's when you pass it. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I will admit, to me, Pine has, throughout the season, he's been a serviceable quarterback, but he has seemed to make a little bit better decisions. I would like to see him, for instance, I remember there was a particular play where he was in the pocket, great protection, but he's staring down Michael Mayer, I believe it was, or maybe it was. He was staring down a receiver, okay? But there is at least 15 yards of snowy grass in front of him. You know what I mean? And it gets and it was a batted down ball. So it's like, dude, always keep your eyes downfield, of course, but do not discount that you can also run the ball when it's wide open right there, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit frustrating, but I think he's starting to get it a little bit. Maybe the game is starting to slow down for him a bit, and just, start making more heads-up decisions and stop taking hits if you can help it. Slide, do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't stare down opponents. Don't force balls in, and run the ball when the opportunity presents itself. Take what they give you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I got a feeling I'm envisioning this very similarly to you. 937-818, you're coming up in a minute. I'm envisioning this similar to you, where Notre Dame's going to be able to run the ball. I think they are. It's going to force USC to kind of crash down in the box to try and stop it a little bit. And that's where you get Mayer open over a crossing route in the middle of the field. That's where you find a little breakdown in coverage in an open spot. Like, Notre Dame's just got to pick their spots. And when you're going to throw it, make it really hurt for USC. Like, the path is going to be there. I can see it. It's just, I don't know if I trust us to execute it all the time.
I hear you. If Pine was able to give us, I'm going to say, a pedestrian 180 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, we win this game.
Oh yeah, because you're you're just talking about his passing, and then I still get all my padded stats for the run game, right? Is that what you mean? Right. Yeah. I'll take that then. Exactly. I'm not figuring Pine's having 2 passing touchdowns. I'm figuring we're gonna run that damn rock, baby. If I just Pine, I just need you to just chill, dude. Like, Pine does not need to be a superhero whipping the ball around. His game and how he plays good looks different than Williams. These are different cats that run the offense different. Pine needs to just play within himself, make smart decisions with the ball, get it where it needs to be, and let that offensive line do a lot of the work. That's the path to me.
Exactly. Yep, I agree. Don't give him Don't give them a chance. Don't take care of the football. Minimize penalties. Hat on the hat. Don't miss blocks. And don't stare down opponents. Take the shots when they're there. Take the runs when they're there. You don't have an issue. So I just think simplifying the game and not overthinking it and everything, I don't think we'll have any issues. That is where I am.
There you go. And then flip it over on the defensive side of the ball. You think we're going to be able to pressure this guy, get after him a little bit, or you think it's going to be a struggle? I could see it going both ways. I need us to crank up that pressure, baby. Hurry that clock up in this guy's head.
Yeah. I agree. I think that I don't think there would be too many issues regarding our defense on their offense. I mean, I don't see them being nearly as good as the Clemson offensive line was.
Yeah.
I don't know. In Ohio State, I mean, we've held all of our opponents below their averages this year. And so just, continue doing what you're doing and, play fast. And the big thing is hitting. Let them feel us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because they haven't been hit yet. Not with Utah.
Yep.
Not with Oregon or whoever else they played. Yeah, they have one loss, but no, they haven't played anyone as fast and as physical as we are. So, just make them feel it and make them pay for, when they do get money, make them pay for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
Yep. And I am
no easy money. No easy money.
No, there's no easy money. And even in the UCLA game, Williams got hit a couple times. He got beat up a little bit. I need Notre Dame to do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Legal. I'm looking for legal hits. I'm not asking for anything untoward. But every time you could get a body on that guy, get a body on that guy. And I'm hoping Notre Dame could do that more than who the people USC's been playing. It'll be a little bit of a surprise for them. Not as easy as what they thought when they were running through the whole Pac-12 all year at 2 a.m. when I'm watching their games.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, and I also hope Cam Hart is okay. I see when he limped off, he grabbed his hamstring, and I believe that's that injury that's been bothering him all season. So I'm hoping that with some rest and everything, he'll be fine because we need that length and speed in the defensive backfield.
Yep.
So just their wideout. So hopefully he's good. Xavier Watts, he really showed out. Ben Morrison, as I said earlier, he's just a beast, and just put a spy on Cam Williams. The Maris Leofau or maybe even J.B. Bertrand if he's back. Just spy him out. Don't overrun the pressure and keep him boxed in and go get them. And
that's it.
I think, and they, if we do that with the first couple of possessions that they have, I think we'll be fine. Because then they will be forced to open up the playbook. Well, try for different things, and I think that we'll have them right where we want them. We just have to stay disciplined and hit and not get outside of ourselves.
Yep. Well, there you go, man. That's the path. Here's what I want you to do. Think about it some more and call me back again one more time before the game, all right?
Will do, John.
Beautiful. Hey, thanks for always being a part of the show. You have a good Thanksgiving dinner if I don't talk to you before, but be in touch. Give me a call before this game, man. Have a good one. Oh, let's see. As much as we bitch about Pine, the backup quarterback, Notre Dame has only lost one game with him as the starter. I understand that, and I have seen more and more people lately go towards that record in defense of Pine. I'm not being rude. I've just been around football long enough and watched enough of it to know, even though that is the case with the record, Notre Dame's not winning any playoff games with Drew Pine. And we've been at the top of very, very good for long enough. That's the only bar left. And I need a guy who can go in there and do it against those teams. And this ain't it. 937, good morning. What's going on today?
Hey, John, it's your favorite Buckeye fan besides Ken, I guess, from Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, I was going to say, you and Kent in cahoots here or what? You got to get to know Kent, my resident Buckeye.
No. I don't know Ken.
My resident Buckeye.
I just know him from the chat.
And I told him,
Hey,
he's going to be my personal guest for Notre Dame when Ohio State comes to South Bend next year. I'm going to show him around, give him the Notre Dame tour. We're going to get along. It's going to be fun.
Yes. Real quick, I just want to say, week 13, isn't it crazy? Notre Dame was probably in the best game of the first week, and maybe arguably the most, especially if they win, the most, I guess, meaningful game in the last week. So that's pretty good that's pretty great for Marcus Freeman to be in such big games throughout the year.
Yeah, you know what, man? Here's what I'm proud of. It was a struggle early, and having 3 losses by mid-October is very, very tough. So to be in the position here to run this out and, maybe finish at 9-3 and get that 10th win in a bowl game, that's a pretty good salvage job for Marcus Freeman, given the rough start and the instability. It really could have gone downhill away from him in a very dark way, and it didn't, and that's positive. But I appreciate you calling a Notre Dame show with what you have coming up on your plate this week, my friend.
Yes. It's kind of fun in the sense, think about this, John. If we actually had some divisions here with USC coming in, if Notre Dame joined, this would be the semifinals for next week. But we'll have to wait a few years for that. But that would have been amazing. This week with Michigan, it'll be interesting to see if Michigan does lose and it's close, and let's say Notre Dame beats USC, or even if USC wins, it'll be interesting to see where they will put Michigan after the game, and then if Notre Dame wins, it's just going to be an interesting week after this, just to see how the landscape lays, because I really don't think we have that many great teams this year. Maybe one, maybe two. I mean, we'll find out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And then some teams you thought were going to be ended up not being, like Tennessee early on. Everybody just thought maybe this is Tennessee's year finally. And now it has all come crashing to the ground. I think I saw in the chat they did confirm an ACL for Hooker. Like, I thought maybe this was their year, and Rocky Top, it's just everything going your way. That burned down. You know what I'm starting to think, man? Georgia, I haven't really heard a word about Georgia this year. They just kind of fly under the radar doing their Georgia thing, and I haven't really heard much about them compared to the other teams in the mix. That's just my experience. They're flying under the radar. Just keep winning.
Yeah, they just keep winning. I mean, but it's like last weekend. Ohio State played Maryland close, but Kentucky just lost to Vanderbilt, and Georgia only beat Kentucky 16-6. So it almost feels like it really is anybody's year this year. If you have one or fewer losses, I would actually take Clemson out of it. If Clemson is in it and Ohio State has one loss to Michigan, after what Notre Dame did to Clemson, Ohio State should jump Clemson. I mean, we have a common opponent, and they got whopped by you guys.
That's a very good angle.
Michigan is out of it. I just think they're out of it. I mean, and they've had their struggles this year, so it's going to be really interesting though to see how they place USC. And I'm already tired of listening to their fans. Like, man, of all the fans, they just act like they're world beaters now all of a sudden.
It really bothers me. Listen, man. All right, I'm a Notre Dame guy. We have Ohio State people, Michigan people. Like, the thing is, all those fan bases are engaged every year, every game, no matter what, whether the team's good, bad, or in the middle. And when Michigan's bad, they're filling up the stadium, but you're miserable. When Notre Dame's bad, we're there, but we're bitching. Like, those people just go surfing for 10 years, and then now they're back, and they act like they cared the whole time, and it matters a lot to them. And it rubs me the wrong way, and I don't respect it.
Right, and now they're talking about how great the Pac-12 conference is, and it's like, are you kidding me? Come on. I mean, I don't think the Big Ten's that great, but really, I mean, the second best team got trounced by Georgia by 40 points. You're going to say that you're a great conference? Like, I just can't wait for those guys to lose. So I'm really hoping Notre Dame puts it on them. And
you know what else is weird,
I
man?
think that would be great to play spoiler.
Here's what else is weird, and this really applies to tell you over most of my other callers. I like dynamics like this week because it forces teams, fans of teams that hate Notre Dame have to sit there and root for Notre Dame for a chance to get in the playoff. If we knock USC out, it could maybe open up that spot. You're going to have teams and fans from all over the country that hate Notre Dame, like go Irish, to try and get their team in. I love those dynamics that mess with people's head. They don't want to root for Notre Dame. They're going to have to.
The numbers for that game afterwards, after the Ohio State-Michigan game, are almost going to be equal because every single Ohio State and Michigan fan is going to be watching that game to figure out if their team has a chance to get in.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
It's going to be it's a big weekend. It just is. And happy Thanksgiving. Real quick on Minchie, I just want to, or Mangelli, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You have 2 games left, so he can play in both and keep his red shirt. So there you go.
There you go. Hey, listen, I really, really appreciate. Hey, man, I appreciate the call. Like I always say, anybody who calls who doesn't love Notre Dame, I love that even more. I like getting other perspectives in here. Very well-spoken ideas. I really appreciate it. And listen, man, if it's between Ohio State and Michigan, I'm pulling for you guys 100%. So good luck to you guys. I'm pulling for Ohio State the whole way this weekend. You know me, I don't do the Michigan thing. So I'm pulling for you. I'm on your side.
Me too. And I'm pulling for Notre Dame to win, and I want to see a Notre Dame-Texas bowl game. I think put another fork in the Sarkeesian. That program's a mess.
Yep, there you go.
I'd
but
love to see that.
Thanks a lot, man. Hey, have a very happy and safe Thanksgiving dinner. Eat up, and then get ready for Saturday. It's going to be a wild day for everybody. Thanks for the call, man. I really appreciate you.
You too. Go Bucks, beat Blue.
There you go, man. I'm down with that. I'm telling you, it's you all. Rodney, I got you coming up. You know, I'm not going to be out here putting Buckeyes on my helmet there and running around like I like Ohio State. But if it is between Ohio State and Michigan, I'm going Ohio State 100%. I'm going to invite myself over to Kent's house. I'm going to paint my face silver like that idiot old fat guy. I'm going to paint my face silver with Buckeyes. I'm going to show up at Kent's house. We're going to party. We're going to watch the game. It's going to be beautiful. Call me Mr. Buckeye. I hate how Michigan has been able to schedule 10 junior highs and win every week and get talked about like they're going to win the Super Bowl. I've had enough of it. I can't take it anymore. They have played 10 high school teams this year, and now they're number 3 awesome, going to win the Super Bowl. Play a real schedule. I'm sick of it. Hawaii and UConn. I'm sick of it. Even the Big Ten teams they play every single week, I look and the team they played's won 2 or 3 games. I want Ohio State to beat them 40-0. I'm sick of it. 818, it's going to be great. Let's talk this morning. Hi, Rodney. You like that switch up? You like that switch up? All yelly? I've been working on that transition from one emotion and then cold right into the next. See if it works, Rodney.
I love it because you led off what I wanted to lead off with. I want to talk about Ohio State, Michigan first, and then we will absolutely talk about Notre Dame USC. I am rooting for Ohio State so much. I can't even tell you, John, how much of a Ohio State fan I feel like this week. I mean, if Notre Dame wasn't playing, I'd probably go out and buy a used Ohio State jersey at Goodwill or something. I'm not kidding. And after Michigan's running back went down, man, if Ohio State doesn't win this game, that's going to upset me to no end, man. The only solace will be Notre Dame beating USC.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too, and how that's all going to break down. And it's just, Rodney, you know me long enough now. I can't hide my hatred for Michigan. Like, there's nothing I could do. I can't hide how much I despise that program. I will call me Captain Bucky the Buckeye this weekend. I'm serious. I hate them so much. And I just don't respect how they played nobody all year and just keep moving up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what our schedule strength is up now. I remember early in the year it was the number one schedule in the country. I'm sure it's still very high. But if ours is number one, theirs has to be in the hundreds. I mean, right? It has to be. I mean, it's in it. Even Penn State, they every year Penn State's ranked high, and the Big Ten has sucked this year, John.
Yeah.
Other than Michigan and Ohio State, the Big Ten has been terrible this year.
Yeah. Yep. It's just, man, Rodney, it's just such a wild year, man. Up and down and up and down. And it's like, Michigan, Ohio State's one thing. Let's talk about us and USC. Rodney, what's your gut tell you about this game? You think Notre Dame's going to be able to fly out to LA on a full stomach of turkey and dictate the pace of play and what the game play is going to look like? Do you think we can go in there and physically dictate that to them, push them around, make them play our game at their place? That's what I need. That's what the doctor's ordering, Rodney. Give it to me.
Yeah, John, listen, I think we're going to win. I think if I'm going just with my head and not with my gut or my heart, I'm thinking we win by 10 or 14 points. Just based on the two teams, based on how we play, based on how the teams they play. Honestly, I think Notre Dame is a pretty significant better team than USC. I mean that based on how we're playing. You can't take away those bad losses early in the year, but if you go after the 16th of October, there's just no question. I mean, they had that game against Navy, whatever. That's just a weird game. You know that. That to me was sort of just an aberration more than it was Notre Dame playing down. The only thing I'm concerned about, and even Caleb Williams, I mean, I think he's going to probably have a good game, but we've done pretty good against those type of quarterbacks this year. We really have.
Yeah.
We're a terrible matchup for USC. We are absolutely a terrible matchup for them. But the only thing that the thing that brings me back down to reality, thinking, well, this could be a pick'em, is just the rivalry, just the game itself, just the hoopla around it, because USC will come to play. Obviously, they got a lot on the line. We got a lot on the line. So that's the one thing that makes me think it's probably going to be a close game, even though I think we're going to win. So I don't really have a score. I guess 35-31, I'm thinking, Notre Dame.
And you know what else? It's early in the week, Rodney. You could call me back and alter that score. As the turkey gets in you and you let the week marinate, call me back and see if you feel any different later in the week. That's what I want you to do. See how your feelings go here. I think, what was it? The line started at 6. Has it moved away from Notre Dame or to Notre Dame? I haven't checked today. I think it was 6 yesterday.
It won't move towards Notre Dame. Whatever it is now, I got a feeling by the time game time, it's going to be down to about 3 points.
Wow.
That's my guess.
Wow. Yeah,
that's my guess. I mean, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I mean, look how good we played lately. I just, again, everything that we've done this year lines up to us playing really, really well this weekend. And I watched that USC-UCLA game. UCLA's a good team. That was a fun game to watch. I watched it in replay. I mean, I watched like the 20-minute replay or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like watching the whole game. And I thought it was a really well-played game, but my God, neither team had any defense. And I think our defense is playing great right now.
It's hard to gauge, Rodney. That's why I struggle watching that game. You know, I was in a good mood. We blew out BC. I'm in a good mood. I'm watching the game, taking my notes for USC. I had a hard time getting a gauge on exactly where they're at because both defenses were so bad. I had a hard time getting a real good gauge of where I think they're at because it was so weird. 16 possessions, no punts. That's not even real life.
No, hey, exactly. And that's the last thing we want. We want them punting the ball because that's where we have an advantage.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird. I just, again, I think the thing that concerns me, John, is like anything else, man. It's like, okay, now that the games this year we stuff. We ended up playing well.
Yeah.
The one difference in that was the Clemson. I think we all had a pretty good feeling about that game going into it as a collective. And then, of course, you play even beyond that. So that's the only thing I'm concerned about. Is now that we have this great feeling about them, and now the game is just going to be the game Kelly had every year on the road when they would, do a no-show, at Michigan or Miami or those Clemson games in the off season or Alabama. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. That just isn't what. That's not the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Rodney. Go ahead. Go ahead. Here's what I think. I think tell me if your mind's thought of this too. I kind of feel like this being the last game changes your mindset in a way. Like this isn't the middle of the year. I look at it different. It's like whatever you have left in the tank, it has to come out that night. If there's any plays you want to run, you ever run all year to sneak up on somebody, pull it out Saturday night. Like if you have anything more to sacrifice in your body, put it out there Saturday night. Like it's the last game and it's a big damn deal. Like I need us to come out there throwing everything we have out there. Like if this is the week you want to do something tricky and you feel like you need to and you haven't all year, pull it out. Like this is it. Unload the clip. Let's go.
John, I got the play for you because I've thought about it for 3 weeks.
No, I know what it is. The play is the fake tight end sneak throw. Is that it?
Throw it to Lindsey for a touchdown, baby.
Yep.
They're probably going to set them up once for it where they go for it on fourth down and get the, just on the sneak. And then later in that game, if there's another opportunity, I absolutely see it right before the snap, he drops back to a shotgun. And then Lindsey's wide open down the field, man. I'm telling you, that's in my head, man. I've been thinking about that a lot. I hope it's this game where it happens.
Yep, it's man, I'm getting all worked up, Rodney. It's Monday morning, and I'm all worked up.
We shot up in the polls. We're like number 13. 13 for the AP. And this is going to be a top 15 matchup. This is really fun, man.
But it's like, Rodney, you met my family. Like, can you imagine Thanksgiving dinner in a couple days? We're just all going to be sitting there breaking down USC. Everybody's going to be all stressed out. Rodney, I'll share this with you. I watched the BC game with my parents. They came over. We had some lunch, had some wings. It was fun, relaxed. And we beat the hell out of BC. And my 62-year-old mother leans over to me and just goes, why the hell couldn't we do that against Marshall? I didn't have a good answer. I said, Mom, good question. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, exactly. But let's be honest, man. BC, are they worse than Marshall? Maybe. I don't know.
I think they are.
You know what? The Marshall game, though, I can honestly let that one go. The Stanford game was just uncalled for. I have no idea. Marshall, okay, second game of the year. I sort of get it.
It's the second game of the year. Yeah, you have the hangover after Ohio State, second game of the year. And then, oh, by the way, your quarterback went down in the middle of that game. That kind of throws you off. I get it, but I don't even want to think about any of this anymore. That seems like it was 3 years ago what happened against Marshall, doesn't it?
John, here's the other thing. You realize if we had won that game against Stanford, we might be like number 6 in the country right now as an outside shot of playoff play.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. At two losses.
Yep.
That's anyway. It's just going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm still looking forward to this. I've never been this excited for a 3-loss team. It's just. I know. That's because of the big wins we've had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that really did save it. And it's giving this game an energy it probably shouldn't have with the 3-loss team. So that makes perfect sense. So I don't know, Rodney.
I think it's going to be a lot like Michigan, Ohio State for the next several years to come, where it's going to be, us and USC. They're probably going to be riding the brink of playoff consideration for many, many years to come.
It's going to be exciting.
The Freeman rivalry is going to be a big thing for years to come.
Yep. It should be literally like almost a decade's worth of awesome rivalry games, and I'm excited. So, Rodney, I want you to have a good Thanksgiving dinner and be in touch, though, before the game, all right? Call me back later in the week as your thoughts crystallize, all right?
Absolutely, buddy. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Hey, like I said, I'll tell you before Thanksgiving, but make sure to pass that along to your family, too, in case I get to say that next time.
I will, for sure, man. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. Have a good Thanksgiving. But he'll probably call me back on Wednesday, Rodney. You could catch me before. Lee Marie. Media pushing Southern Cal since Riley showed up. Yeah, you know who's on front on that push is Colin Cowturd. Sitting out there. He's a pretty boy. LA fancy boy. Pisses me off. Coward doesn't talk about USC for years, except for saying they're bad, they should be better. Riley shows up, and now half the damn show's about USC. He's acting like he's all into it. It annoys me. So, of course, big media wants to push a West Coast LA college football team. It makes perfect sense that they want that. They want something out west as a beacon of college football. Even when Oregon's good, it doesn't have that kind of cachet. It almost has to be USC. And the whole Hollywood thing and all the money and all the flash and all that. So it's no doubt that the media is all over USC. They want that LA market to be a football market. The problem with it is all they want to do is surf. Okay? Surf and eat health foods, foodie, whatever. They're weird out there. I don't respect it. I don't. All right? Open stadium, 2 people there, and it's the players' parents, and now Notre Dame shows up, and they're going to fill the place up and act. They are going to act like they've been sitting there watching this team be miserable for all these years, and they haven't. They checked out, went and did other fun things in LA. Now they're showing back up once they think they're good again. I don't respect it. Okay? I don't. This is going to be one of those weeks, I think, isn't it? It's fine with me. Let's ride. I don't respect it. Either be there or don't. You know who else is like that? As many problems as Nebraska has, at least those people care. They embrace the misery. When they're bad, they're in it, but they're miserable. These people, for some reason, the collective we, just lets the USC people check out for decades at a time and go surf and go create Hollywood, do whatever. And then they just show back up like they were there. You didn't earn that. I don't respect it. I don't. Look at this. Everybody's like, John, what do you have against surfing? And John, what do you have against healthy eating? Anything in California I don't like. The whole state could break off and dissolve into the Pacific Ocean as far as I'm concerned. I'm serious. I hope there's an earthquake and half that state just dissolves into the coast. Never to be seen again. I don't like it. I don't like them. Got me all worked up. On a Monday. 734, give me some more. What's going on today?
Johnny, what's up, baby?
I'm just, I'm in full Notre Dame USC mode, baby.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. And hey, I'd like to piggyback off that Calvert take. You ever hear him talk about us? Oh, South Bend, it's rigid, it's cold. You got the Catholic thing. It's academically rough. You ever notice how he talks about us like that?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm right there with you, man. It's annoying. And, yeah, like you said, man, the USC fans, they get to check out for a decade and a half, and then all of a sudden, they're back.
Yeah. No, it just bothers me. Okay, I got a chat. Andrew Gilmore. I kind of disagree with John. USC is the 3rd team in LA behind the Dodgers and the Lakers. They're more popular than the Rams. But nobody was going to the games. So how are you telling me they're that popular and no one's going to the home games? Even some of them this year. So, yeah, popular, fine. Nobody shows up. They are this week. They're going to be there this week. It's going to be just like Miami in 17. They have 4 people there, and then Notre Dame showed up, and all the Miami people showed up like they were there. It just pisses me off. Hit them in the face. Pound these guys.
Hey, John, I couldn't agree more. But I'll tell you what, man. There's going to be an Irish takeover there. You watch, man. When they pan that crowd, you're going to see nothing but, some of our green shirts and, our new shirts for this year, the 2022 edition. I'm telling you, we're going to be out full force this week, man. I'm looking for a big win.
Could you imagine, after all that crying we did about Kelly and his record against top 5 and top 10 teams, if Freeman comes in here with this roster and is able to clip off 2 top 5 wins in year 1, that's a hell of a job year 1.
I'll tell you what, and I was talking to my buddy about this yesterday. I said, man, with everything that Freeman's done this year, we're going to end up with 10 wins. With Drew Pine at quarterback, how he's not in the running for Coach of the Year is beyond me. I'm not saying he should win it, but he should be in the conversation.
Yeah, it's for sure. Brad, that's different. Brad, I see what you just put in the chat. That's different. I'm not talking about the song girls. I'm talking about the fans. Don't try and pin me up with that. I'm not going to say anything about the California girls. It's all everybody else. All right, I'm sorry I did that.
No worries, man. I understand. Hey, you multitasking, man. I'm the king of that. But yeah, man, it's like we talked a few weeks ago before the Syracuse game, and I laid out the path for 10-3 for you, man, and it's all coming to fruition, man. It's just a matter of getting out there, executing this weekend, man, because we're the better team, John. We're the better team. I watched that UCLA game. I'm thinking, oh man, we're gonna cover these guys.
Man, but listen, man, was it hard to gauge a little bit what the truth is because neither team was playing adequate defense at all? I kind of had a hard time feeling like I got an accurate read on all this because the defenses were both just so bad.
What made me feel good, John, is I know we're going to play better defense. We're going to get pressure on Williams. Hey, I'll tell you what, Morrison, he's like Dion out there, man. He's got one side of the field locked down. I'm just so excited, man. Just the peaks and valleys with this team, man. We've all been through it, the heart attacks, the anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's all shaping up for us, man.
Yeah, what a turnaround. Could you imagine 3 losses by October 15th to end up possibly at 10-3 with 2 top 5 wins? You couldn't possibly be trending in a better direction for the overall program, recruiting, whatever the bowl game would look like at that point. Like, it would be a huge turnaround, and getting this one would wrap that all up, man. It's a big day. Saturday's a big day in college football. I love it.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, I'm going to be up early, man. Going to tune in Ohio State, Michigan, and just roll into our game. It's going to be a great day, like you said. And, real quick before I get out of here, man, I just remember your instant reaction after the Stanford game. And if we'd have told you at that moment, hey, John, don't even worry about that. It's our last loss. We're about to start kicking butt going to USC, man. You just told us all we were crazy. Yeah.
I think I would. It's just a really good, improbable turnaround here. And there's one last hurdle. And I think we'll be ready. I just need it to be enough. And the game just has to go a certain way that it stays on track for Notre Dame. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, but the car has to stay on the road here as far as how this game goes. I think Notre Dame's going to be looking to physically dictate what they want to do.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to pound the rock, play good sound defense, man, shorten the game, and go Irish, man. We're going to get them out of there. I'll tell you what, y'all, I'm going to get going, man. I know you got a couple things to do before you wrap up. I'll check back in with you later this week.
Beautiful, man. Hey, if I don't talk to you before Thanksgiving, have a good, enjoyable day with your family, but give me a call back before the game, all right, man?
We'll do, brother. Take care, man.
Have a good one. Thanks for the call. Michael Parks, surf and smoke weed. Maybe that's what I need to do, and I'd be a little more relaxed if I just did that, right? Like maybe California is the perfect place for somebody wound as tight as I am. Cheap legal weed at a lot higher THC rate than they allow in Illinois, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I belong in California. I don't think I'd fit in. Don't think I have the California vibe they're looking for. 773, you're talking to me. Last call of the day. What's going on? Happy Monday. It's USC Hate Week.
Hey, John, it's Tom in Edison Park. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing beautiful, man. It's always good to talk to some local people in my area. What's on your mind?
Well, here's the thing. You're going back to trying to analyze which USC and Notre Dame team is going to show up Saturday night. I just don't think Notre Dame matches up really well with USC outside of our offensive line. I'm scared for what I saw because there's a few things that are givens going into that game. Drew Pine's going to have a few balls batted down. DJ Brown definitely will have at least one, if not two, crucial pass interference plays against that team. You're going to need more of an athletic quarterback than what we have, and unfortunately, we just don't have it. So I hope they can run the ball for 400 yards. That's just the way I see it. I couldn't make heads nor tails of that game Saturday night because of the fact there was no defense.
I was struggling, man. I had my little notepad there ready to make all these bullet points, and I just found it hard to gauge because the level of defense was so awful from both teams. But I do think you agree the general path is pretty obvious. Like Notre Dame's going to have to run the ball successfully and eat up a lot of clock for this to go according to Notre Dame's plan. That goes without being said. Defensively, are we going to get the pressure we need on them? That's a question I have. That pressure's been hot or cold for Notre Dame this year. You're going to need it. Are we going to be able to get it?
Well, I think they can if Al Golden he's going to have a spy on Caleb Williams all night long. Now I don't know who that is going to be.
Yeah.
Does Jack Kaiser fill that role? Does Xavier Watts fill that role? I don't know.
He does a lot of damage. He does a lot of damage on a broken play. It's like Justin Fields watching the Bears. Like a lot of his damage is he's in the pocket, nothing's open, and then he makes something happen, running in circles, getting away from people, extending plays. That's where I can't see Notre Dame get burnt. It's a killer when you play good coverage on the back end and then a kid runs around long enough and gets a first down anyways. I'm with you. I don't care who it is. Somebody got to be spying that kid. And at all times. And if he gets out of the pocket, you hit him, and hit him again.
Yes. And hopefully Bertrand can stay away from a targeting penalty when that does happen. That's all. I think the Irish win a close one. I think it's going to be a 38-35 ball game, but I think the Irish win a close one. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend, and I will talk to you soon.
You as well. Thanks for the call, man. Happy Thanksgiving, and it's going to be a great day of football Saturday. Relax and enjoy it. We all deserve it. Have a good one. Oh, man. Telling you what. I don't know why, you guys, but this episode really came to life. I'm all worked up. It's the end of the year. I don't like half the teams that are in the playoff hunt at all. I hate USC. I hate Boston College. I hate Michigan. I hate Brian Kelly. I hate everything, okay? Except for you guys. Everybody who called, I love. Everybody in the chats, I like. Even Brad, I like to a certain extent. I still can't tell whether Brad really likes Notre Dame or really hates Notre Dame, but it makes for an interesting chat. So I love all you guys. This show, man, I'm telling you what. You guys have no idea how much I love doing this show. It is just the only thing I want to do. Like, if I had enough callers, I would just keep this line open like 3 or 4 hours a day and just yell about stuff with you guys. So that's going to be it for today. Beautiful call in, a lot of engagement, a lot going on. Here's the deal, folks. Oh, John, it's a holiday weekend. Are you going to take time off? Are you out of your damn mind? Are you out of your freaking mind? Absolutely not. This is not the week to start kicking back. I'm doing extra content. It's USC week, so stay tuned for the regular videos. I got a lot of stuff coming up. Extra videos. And then Wednesday, what is it, Black Wednesday or whatever? Start drinking at 9 a.m. because we're doing a call-in show. Friday, it's the day after Thanksgiving. Everybody has off work. Not me. Give me a call. All right? That's the deal. Everybody, thanks for being here. Here's the other thing, too. Life's short, man. Life's short. While you're with your people you like for Thanksgiving, make sure you let them know you care about them and you're glad they're a part of your life and you're glad they're healthy, all right? Life is too short, and too many times we realize that the hard way. Tell your people you love them while you can, all right? All right, stay tuned. See what I got coming out on the regular videos, and then we will do another call-in Wednesday morning, all right? Go Irish.